and welcome to Access Studio. I'm Nancy Gesimondo. Today I'm in Palm Springs, California for Desert Open Studios. This 2-weekend event is a great way to meet and support the many talented artists clustered throughout the Coachella Valley. In this episode, I visit with 4 accomplished artists in their ground floor studio spaces concentrated in Palm Springs. Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Nancy.
How are you?
Good. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
These are beautiful. Are these your new pieces?
These are coil-built pots, vessels that I make in my studio using coil method.
Oh, wow.
And what I do with them is after I make them, I fire them once, and then I take and put them on the floor of the studio and break them, crack them apart. So I don't know exactly how many pieces it's going to crack into. Then I make these glazes and I paint the shards.
Oh, wow.
And then I, fire them again, and then bring them out of the kiln, and I epoxy them all together, not knowing, of course, how they're going to go together. And so it can be really fun and also not so fun sometimes, depending on how it works. For instance, I didn't know that this orange was going to be next to that orange, but mostly it works out great, and it's a very exciting way to work because of that sort of serendipitous thing that I'm not sure is going to happen.
So the pieces just fit together.
Well, they fit together pretty well. Not always exactly, but fairly well, which I'm happy about. And sometimes, if it doesn't, sometimes I'll get a whole pot together and it didn't go back together properly. So at that point, there's nothing you can do about it.
Start again, right?
And I work in all different scales, but mostly around this size.
Oh, you have a lot of sales too. That's fantastic.
I was very fortunate, this weekend.
So this open studio event has been
really
good, right?
It's been an amazing event, actually. Lots of people came by, and we even expanded Open Studio this year. It's many more people and 2 weekends in a row. And last year it was only 1 weekend and a lot fewer artists. So
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming out, Nancy.
All right, see you.
Okay, bye.
Hey, Lynda.
Hi, Nancy.
Nice to see
my
you.
Studio.
Thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
These are so cool. So you do painting as well as these beautiful painted sculptures?
I do. I work across a number of different media, and basically my work is based on maps. And so I walk all through the neighborhoods in Palm Springs, in Los Angeles, and what I do is I kind of chart what I see while I'm walking. This neighborhood is called Araby Cove, and it's not as manicured as some of the mid-century modern neighborhoods. So I use colors and texture to show what makes that neighborhood very special. And then my sculptures are kind of a 3D embodiment and basically allow me to take people on a walk, if you will. So the sculptures complement the painting. Work I do is over here. This is more where I display the work, and then I actually do the paintings over here. Oh, thank you.
It's always fun to see an artist's studio.
Right, right.
You can see the mess I make.
Well, no, I mean, no. But I love how you have organized your colors.
Oh,
your
I
palettes,
do, yes.
Which is, I do chalk, so it's like,
and how you have to
yeah,
do.
yeah, exactly.
It makes a big difference. And nail polish.
That is awesome.
So nail polish is, I call it my secret weapon, because I use a little of it in different ways on my paintings, and it just has a different texture, a different surface quality. And what I love about nail polish now is that all the colors, when I grew up it was red and pink, and now it's green, it's black, it's all different shades. So whenever there's a sale on nail polish at the store, I'll go over and buy some more. And a new art material I'm working with is grass cloth. And it actually came from a wallpaper project that I did, and I had extra roll of grass cloth and I had it attached to a panel, and I love the texture, and I really am always in search of ways to bring more texture into my paintings. So I've done that, and then as you can see, this is my workspace.
It's fantastic.
I'm working on a big commission for a beautiful home in Santa Fe, New Mexico that will have the maps of Santa Fe.
Cool.
And so they'll be able to see where their house is and where the city and the different plaza and different areas. And then recently I just have finished a series of catalog collages, which are taking pages from different catalogs, from everybody from Saks Fifth Avenue to Prada and Chanel, and making them into these very abstract collages that I think really honor the photography and the style, but is very distinctive in my specific style.
Yes, you can definitely tell your shapes and colors and your line.
When you come to visit.
And you're one of the founders of the Desert Open Studios, correct?
I am. Myself and two other local artists really wanted to be able to showcase the artists that live and work here in the Valley, along with introducing collectors to their work, and also to introduce the artists to each other. A lot of times we work so independently that you don't even know that maybe within a mile there's other creative people that you can grab a cup of coffee with, you can invite them over to your studio. And this year we've grown from 60 from last year to over 110.
That's fantastic.
So we're thrilled. We really just want more opportunities for locals.
Well, thanks so much for having me in your studio today. It was so awesome.
Take care.
Bye. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Nancy. Welcome to my studio.
It's great to see you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Let me show you what I've been focused on lately.
Great.
I have 3 different bodies of work that I've been focused on, and this one here is part of my Fossils of the Future series. So I create these cubes and also large totem-like structures that I fill with all kinds of single-use plastics. Plastics people donate to me and save for me, like netting from vegetables and pill bottles and all kinds of stuff. So they get all stuffed into these cubes and totems, and I layer it with different materials. And they're meant to look like future core samples of the Earth.
Wow. What's in here?
That looks like plastic army men, I think.
Oh, right.
So also part of that series is I've cast plastic water bottles and porcelain. This started at a residency that I did in Banff, Canada at the Banff Art Center. And I started with casting the water bottles. So these are porcelain cast water bottles.
Oh, wow. How cool. Beautiful. I like this one here too, this little pair.
Yeah, they're kissing.
Aw.
So those are all ceramic. So this one is meant to look like a museum display case in the future. It has cyanotype prints on the front and back of plastic water bottles and different plastics that you might find in the ocean. And these are all cast sort of lava encrusted glazed water bottles.
Wow. How beautiful.
Thank you.
Oops.
The other body of work I've been focused on is around the Salton Sea and Owens Lake. Two sort of environmental disasters, man-made environmental disasters in California. These are abstracted birds of the Salton Sea.
Oh, wow.
You know, they're losing all of their habitat down there due to the water evaporating. They are on wobbly legs to show how precarious the situation is.
Wow.
This piece also came from the Salton Sea, and it's out of a deserted house in Bombay Beach. And I picked up a couple of these about 6 or 7 years ago. Reinforced them in the front and the back, and one of them has just rusted steel legs and this one has feet.
Oh, it's so cool. And tell me about this piece.
So these are bottles that came out of a dump in Owens Lake. Owens Lake was one of the environmental disasters where Mulholland in 1913 diverted all the water to LA so LA would have water, and it created a massive dust bin pollution of the entire Owens Valley that they're still trying to mitigate. But these are bottles, beautiful bottles from the 40s and 50s that I slumped in my kiln.
Wow. That's awesome. So beautiful. And is the wood reclaimed?
Yeah, the wood's reclaimed. These are also from the Salton Sea. So these are posts that came out of the Salton Sea, and I was inspired by the Nkisi, which is like a power figure from the Congo. And with my assistant Daniel, we put about 1,000 nails into these posts.
Wow.
And the Nkisi, when you pound a nail into a wooden figure, it represents tapping the energy within the wood to undo a wrong.
Oh, wow. That is so cool. And are these meant to be indoor or outdoor?
They're indoor pieces.
Mm-hmm. And what's the figure piece in the back?
So that was a piece I made, it's been a few years, about 7 years ago. She is the Japanese technique of kintsugi, where you fill the cracks with gold. So she's all cracked, her back is all cracked, and it's all filled with gold. So it's sort of a wabi-sabi.
Beautiful. I love your aesthetic.
Thank you. So ceramic, the top's just ceramic with no glaze, and the bottom is also reclaimed wood.
On a concrete base.
And a concrete base, yep. This is a piece from my Fossils of the Future series, and it is layered, as you can see, with all kinds of material, but also in here are all kinds of found and donated plastics. And water bottles and all sorts of stuff, pill bottles. And I was just cleaning it up.
Wow, that's so cool. It's always great to see an artist at work. What's back here? I have some cyanotape prints that I've done. These are also of plastics.
Oh, wow.
So these are, that one is plastic water bottles in a plastic bag.
Wow. Beautiful.
That one's called Glad, I think. And this one is called After the Party. A bunch of plastic wine cups.
Is there anything else you'd like to show me?
Yes. The artifacts of a fire are these pieces right here. And this particular one was sourced from a fire that we had about 3 years ago up in Idlewild. And I got a ranger's permit and went and pulled pieces out that I liked. Embedded them with shaped steel, sort of a figurative armor, and, you know, raised them up again to stand tall. They sort of talk about the strength of nature, but also the fragility of nature.
Wow.
As well as climate change, of course.
Oh, gorgeous.
Thank you.
Are these meant to be outdoor or indoor again?
These can be outdoors or indoors. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, thank you so much for having me in your studio today.
It was a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Nice to meet you. Nice to have you in my gallery studio.
Thank you so much. These are beautiful.
Thank you very much. I'm really very proud of my work. Love Palm Springs very much, and it's very difficult not to be inspired here because we basically live in art and live around art. So all the different homes and architectural influence is quite a thing to be immersed in.
Did I interrupt you working on something here?
Yes, this is a newer painting that I'm just finishing detailing out right now. This one I called Bombardier. It was you get different kind of influences, and this particular one, the social scene here in Palm Springs is quite a thing. It's one of the reasons that we live here. One of the reasons that we stay all summer here. It's hard to believe, but the summertime in Palm Springs is quite a social scene. And this This was hatched, the name of it was hatched during a very lively happy hour that I was with about a half a dozen very, very good friends of mine.
Oh, and what's this? You also make some merchandise?
I only sell them in my gallery, so if anybody wants one, you're gonna come and visit.
Oh, is this one of your sculptures?
I know this is actually a very good friend of mine and a very well-known local ceramicist. His name is Brian Hicks. Based out of San Diego, but he lived here for a very long time, so he's very well known here. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of pieces in here of his, as his work is very much in demand.
And it works very well with yours too.
You know, there's been a number of pieces where people were unsure whether it was something that I might have created, but we have quite a synergy, that's for sure.
Yeah, you can see that. This is gorgeous.
Thank you very much. This is one of the latest pieces that I've done, and influences that on this are pretty clear. I love cubism. It is something that fascinates me, and I do deep dives and research for different painting styles that I love. And this is not only a bit of cubism, but also futurism, which was invented in the turn of the last century by a lot of Italian artists. And I felt very, very connected with that. I'm Italian myself.
Me too.
And I've traveled to a number of these cities in Italy that where this began. So it's something that endlessly fascinates me. It permeates most of my work.
That's so good. How come you're called Big Mike?
I get that question a lot. It's a legend. No, it's not. Actually, I am a gay man, and my very first boyfriend was also named Mike. So he was 19, I was 23. He was a little slighter than me, so I became Big Mike, and I kind of graduated to that. I started out as Little Mike, or Mikey in my family, because I was the youngest of 3 Mikes, including my father and an uncle. So I graduated all the way to Big Mike, and it's been a name of a number of my businesses over time. It's been on my business name. So there's quite a lot of people from here to Santa Monica that call me Big Mike still. I still chuckle a bit every time I hear it, but it's quite a term of endearment, though.
Sure, that's fun. This one is just beautiful.
Thank you.
Really beautiful.
I really name my work after a lot of things that are occurring. We obviously went through COVID, and a lot of big events happened during this time. This one represents the booster shot that my husband got, and he bounced around on the bed from the side effects the first night of it, like he was Lynda Keeler, I have to tell you. So it was this writhing, it was this movement, it was this action that was kind of an unbelievable thing. It was only for one night for him, but it was quite an idea in my head that came around where I was like, well, the whole country must be going through all this same kind of writhing and movement and trying to create immunity from this horrible pandemic that we've gotten through.
Sure.
And this is what was the end product. To come in the back here, I have a back part of my gallery. I'd like to show you another very important piece for me. Come on back.
Sure.
So this piece right over here is called Paris to Lyon.
That's gorgeous.
And I travel fairly extensively. My husband spoils me wildly, I have to tell you, when it comes to travel.
You're very lucky.
And this is an anticipation piece. Next September, we're going to be traveling from Paris to Lyon. And we're going to be taking a high-speed train and flying and all of that. And a lot of this type of work where it's very, very dense from beginning to end are a lot of kind of energy pieces for me. And I'm still trying to formulate how I'm going to actually put that into words, the name of this particular kind of style that I do. But the idea of movement, obviously you can see the possibility of plane parts and train parts, and it's also the idea of this riverboat cruise that we're going to be on. I think it's where the blue colors have come across. So the idea of streaking across the hillsides and also on rivers is the inspirations behind this piece.
Really beautiful. And Mike, are these oil or acrylic?
I use oil pastels extensively, also oil sticks and oil paint, along with a mixture of graphite, including graphite stick, pencil. One new thing that I've been experimenting with, and I think I do love very much, is that I'm using wood panel. So this is painting on wood versus canvas. It helps with, because I use such large pieces, there's a bit of a bounce that can happen in a lot of big canvases, and so it stops that so I can get my line nice and crisp, and I just love using them.
Wonderful.
And this piece here is called Mando Setosporo. It actually has a bit of an extended name. When I first named it, it was called Mando Setosporo, which means upside down world. When I first created this is when our previous president was in power, and I felt like the world was upside down. Over time, as Mr. Biden came into election and won, I felt like things had changed, so I literally actually changed these two pieces above, and the whole upside down world changed. It went from Mando Setosporo to Mando Setosporo lato destro en alto, which means right side up. So upside down world, right side up. And once I placed the pieces in the other position, this piece went into a peaceful state, and it was in balance, and it was what it was always meant to be. And so it was very interesting how some pieces continue to speak to me and evolve over time.
Do you show other places other than Palm Springs?
Actually, funny that you asked that, because I'm going to be showing at the Greg Salvatore Gallery in Provincetown coming up in the summertime. So please take a look for me out there. But you can always find my work at bigmikeart.com. It has all my work, available work, and in collection.
Super. Thanks so much, Mike. Have a great day.
Thank you for coming down, Nancy. It's so nice to meet you.
Same here. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to Access Studio today. I hope you enjoyed this episode here out in Palm Springs, and that you'll tune in next time. If you're interested in any of the artwork shown in this video, please see the closing credits for the artist's contact information. Thanks for watching.